Mace, apologies for hitting you with a two-parter, but what can you tell us about Keith Williams, and then what was just the plan for the rest of you guys there down the stretch in the second half?
Yeah, Keith, he's still being evaluated for an injury, and so I can't say much on that. I don't know much about what's going on. And then what was the second part? Sorry.
Knowing you guys didn't have him, what was, especially all you young guys, what was the talk and the approach going down the stretch that second half?
Yeah, we came into I didn't even know he was hurt, and then all of a sudden I'm looking around the locker room, and Coach B's like, if we don't have him, we'll be fine. And just kind of the message was like, we've kind of battled adversity the whole season, and we've been better because of it. And so this was nothing different. And so I'm just really proud of everyone for the way we responded. And some guys stepped up down the stretch for sure. Keep Keith's season alive.
We'll go next to Brendan Seho, please.
Hey, Mason, the young guys on this team just coming together down the last month of the season after that COVID pause. I mean, you guys have saved the season. It feels like having these big games. What is it like to be one win away from an NCAA tournament berth with this freshman group?
Man, I mean, if you told me like 2 months ago that this is where we were going to be, not that I wouldn't have believed it, but it just, at that time, it probably seemed far-fetched, right? But I think like going into that pause, it was a little bit like we can't take anything for granted once we get back to playing, because I think there's a little bit of that going through the season, and it's a long season obviously for everyone. And so I think like the days go by and you just kind of like you just gloss over every day. And I think like having that break kind of refocused us on what was important, and to be able to do it with like you'd be pressed to find a closer team than we are, I think, just on and off the floor. Like it's been really fun.
Next to Jeremy Rauch, please.
Mason, first of all, what are your emotions like right now, and what was the celebration like inside the locker room?
Yeah, I was gonna start this with like, if my answers are a little scattered, it's because my brain isn't all there right now, because we obviously just got off the floor and that was really exciting. So I don't know. For this to be the first time I do this, I'm sorry if the answers are scattered, but the locker room was crazy, really fun, obviously. But we know we have to refocus. Like, we're going to enjoy this one for the next couple hours. But obviously, being in the position we're in, there's a quick turnaround tomorrow against either Memphis or Houston, two really good teams. So
we'll go next to Chad Brindell, please.
Mason, take me through your emotions, both when Jeremiah came down with that offensive rebound off the free throw, and then when the ball is in the air from Tariq Gilbert right as the clock expires.
Man, they're probably on two different ends of the spectrum. Like when JD got that board, obviously that's big time. Because I don't know if you guys could see it. Like, I don't know what the camera was like on TV, but like they were fighting for position, because Udeze was just going back and forth because JD was trying to get the smaller guy so that he had a chance to get the rebound. And then Udeze ended up getting like on the same side as JD, and it really didn't matter because JD came away with the board anyway. So I told him like it didn't matter. That was obviously big time. And then when that shot was in there, I've had a couple of those in my career. This is obviously the biggest stage, but it's like slow motion. Like there are thoughts going through your head. Like if my season ends like this, like you don't want to go through that. And everyone from the bench said it looked good. I thought it looked good. And then obviously it came out the rim, and that was one of the better feelings I've ever felt. So.
Go back to Justin Williams, please.
Mason, you had a couple big threes in that second half and another kind of mid-range jumper. For a freshman, are you as calm on the inside as it looks on the outside in those moments?
I'd say for the most part, probably. Obviously, there's a little bit like this whole year. I don't like. There have just been parts where I'm like, I don't know if this will ever be normal to me. Just playing at the stage and like getting a police escort is crazy. Like I think about it every time. I'm like, wow, I don't think I'll ever get used to this. And so obviously, like on the inside, there's a little bit of me that's like, wow, I just did that. But obviously, like I've put in the work, and I've got good people around me that give me open shots. Like Dave made a big time pass in the corner, and obviously I don't get that without him making that play. So my job's pretty easy. I just catch and shoot. So for the most part.
Okay, we'll take the last one from Chad Brindell, please.
Mason, you started the season injured and took a little while to get back into a flow. Take me through this kind of last 6 weeks for you, where you've gone from, a spot minute guy to a guy that leads the team in scoring in the conference semifinals.
Yeah, I think like this has been one of the most trying years I've been a part of, just for many reasons, obviously. And like lots of people are going through, or everyone's going through COVID, obviously, and that makes it hard. And then to be injured was hard too. But just to get back to where I finally feel healthy, it's definitely a relief. And then just to be able to be at the stage with like the dudes I play with, and it's really an honor, to be honest. Like to be at Cincinnati, obviously just historic basketball school. So, and then like you said, like to lead the team in scoring, I didn't even know that was the case. Like we must have been really balanced because I only had 10, I think. So you could have brought anyone in here, to be honest. But no, it's really cool. It is really cool.
Not too bad. It's pretty dry.
All right, we're joined now by Cincinnati head coach John Brannen. Coach will ask you for an opening statement, please, then we'll open up to questions.
Unbelievable game. There's a reason Wichita was our champions in our league this year in the regular season. They, Isaac's done a phenomenal job, extremely well coached, really, really tough. I told our guys we're gonna have to go beat them. They don't beat themselves. That's a sign of a championship caliber team when you don't beat yourself. Other teams have to come get you. Another opportunity for our guys to handle adversity. Didn't have a top 40 score of all time in the second half. Our leader and guys stepped up. So I'll have to create some adversity before the game tomorrow. But I thought our guys made plays, didn't shoot free throws great down the stretch, didn't shoot the ball overall great, but made enough defensive stops and showed enough tenacity defensively to make up for that. And I could go one by one and talk about how each one of them is responsible for the success of our game today, and certainly for the last two games, because every person that's been in the game has been responsible for our success. And I'm really excited about how we've been playing, and I'm certainly excited about the challenge tomorrow.
Questions, please. We'll start with Justin Williams from The Athletic.
Coach, I think you're down 7 or so with about 10 minutes left. It looked at that point like you weren't going to get Keith back in the second half. What was the message, or maybe any adjustments you made in that moment?
Well, so we had to start the second half with Tari at the 4, which he doesn't know any of the spots right now at that position because he's, him and Chris just platoon. So we had to, and JD doesn't really play the 3, so we had to make some adjustments in terms of what we were running, and then we decided to go back with a smaller lineup, move JD back down to the 4. And, thank goodness we got a little bit of depth at our guard positions, and we're kind of be able to get guys in and out in order to keep fresh, and just kind of open the floor up and let him drive and kick. I thought David DeJulius really came to play in the second half. I thought his resurgence was a big part of why we won.
We'll go next to Brandon Seho, please.
Coach, when you look back at this and you start the season 3-7, now you're 1 win away from going to the big dance. How proud are you of these guys, especially the young group? I mean, these underclassmen have really helped you guys kind of navigate through this past month and get to this title game. What does it say about these guys, and how proud are you of this group?
Well, Brandon, I usually start off talking about that. I'm over the moon proud of them. And the freshmen stepped up. I mean, it's just, you look out there, we got 3-4 freshmen at the same time during gut check time. So obviously the future is really bright here for Cincinnati basketball. I think that's what most people can take from that. But the opportunity for these seniors and for these guys to compete at this level and to play for a championship tomorrow speaks volumes of everybody in our organization. I mean, everybody, this is a locked in together, tough organization group of guys. And, as I've always said, we may not be Bearcat tough on the court yet physically, which I think we're certainly closer than maybe we even thought, but we're just as tough as anybody in the country, character-wise, and ability to fight for each other. And that's what you're seeing on the floor.
We'll go to Chad Brendel for the next one, please.
Coach, you had a 26-10 advantage off the bench. Just talk about how much you were able to get from David and Mason and Tari at key points.
Yeah, I mean, Mason's, calling plays for himself. So I said, all right, let's do it. And he hits a pull-up jumper, fade away to the baseline, get every loose ball. Tari just skies above everybody, gets a rebound, gets a loose ball, uses those long arms to get deflections. And David really turned it on in the second half and had 4 assists and no turnovers. So again, you play for each other. Our strength, I told this time, your strength is the guy next to you. That's your strength. That's the strength of our team. Mike, the strength of our team is Mike Saunders. Mike Saunders, the strength of our team is Mason Madsen. Tari, the strength of our team is JD. How those guys make the job easier for them, vice versa. So, I hear stuff about our identity and stuff like this. We're not what we want to be yet in terms of the style of play, but we're pretty darn close. And we're also a team that shows the level of toughness day in and day out, regardless of the circumstances and regardless of the situations.
Take the next one from Jeremy Roush, please.
First of all, John, I don't know if you have an update. I know you just said on the broadcast on Keith, but if Keith cannot go tomorrow, I don't know if learn is the right word, but what did you find out about this team in the second half and how they did play without Keith?
Well, certainly we never want to play without Keith. But, it goes back to when David opted out, or, when somebody couldn't go, or somebody, Mike Saunders got hurt, whatever it does, I think those things have already been spoken for, really, Jeremy. You know what I mean? I think, go back to Colgate last year and come up with all the other scenarios that have happened to us over the last year and a half and how we responded, how our men have responded. And I think you saw the same thing. I think it was just a microcosm, Jeremy, of how we've responded all season.
We'll go to Brent Young for the next one, please.
Hey, Coach. Wichita State had scored under 60 in only one other game this season. Just talk about your defense and what you guys were able to contain Tyson Etienne.
No, we already sat on guard. Even the last play, we guarded well. Guys, some of the shots they made, I got to be honest with our guys, those are shots we won. They were throwing up shots at the end of the shot clock that went in. We give them credit for making it, but we guard, we defend, and we do it in different ways. Sometimes because we're young, we have moments where we don't guard, right? Sometimes because we're young, we throw the ball away. But it's never for a lack of effort and determination. There'll be a time when we're no longer young and we won't do those things. And, maybe, who knows what we'll become. But I certainly do. But that's what you see. And you see a team that's capable of defending, bought into each other. The individual defense by Mike Adams-Woods, Atari Eason, Dave DeJulius, Mason, Saunders, those guys can sit down and guard. And then they're committed to each other in terms of the rotations. And just a really together group that really shows up on the defensive side a lot.
Okay, we'll take another from Justin Williams, please.
First, real quick, is there anything you're able to tell us about Keith and what he's going through?
I have no idea. I literally not talked to the medical staff. I went straight. We have so many protocols here after the game's over. I anticipate talking to them when I get back to the hotel.
Okay, and then just real quick, the way this, I think 9-3 since you guys came back from that layoff, you've always talked about your team's playing better as the season goes along. I know you have one, more really important game, but have you gotten this team playing the way you wanted to get them to all season?
They're certainly playing the way we want to play. They're certainly playing the style we want to play, and they're certainly playing. This is what it looks like. You don't win in March unless you get that. So yeah, this is what it's supposed to look like now. Clean up turnovers, clean up mental errors, clean up some errors we make out of youth and we don't run our sets well at all. We still find a way. We don't run our stuff well at all. So, this group's teaching me, maybe you don't have to all the time, So, I think we're helping each other a little bit in terms of that. But yes, Justin, it's more looking like the way we want to. The tough, the grittiness, the togetherness, and certainly the style of play was. And I think that's how you win and advance this time of year.
Okay, we'll take the next one from Keith Jenkins, Cincinnati Enquirer.
Hey, Coach, was the plan to take Tyler out? What was your plan there defensively against him?
Say again, I'm sorry?
What was your plan against Tyler tonight? To take him out and make someone else win the game tonight?
Tyler.
ETN.
Oh, Tyson.
Tyson, sorry.
Well, it's certainly the player of the year in the conference, Keith. Our goal was to make it difficult for him. We trapped him a lot more in the first game. So, we probably had a little more of a focus in terms of getting the ball in his hands the first game. Their role players have played so well lately. They won 8 straight. It was very difficult to say, all right, we're just going to take, ETN out with all the other weapons on the floor. So we didn't as much say that, but certainly we had a tremendous level of a high level of alertness to where he was at all times.
Okay, time for one or two more. We'll go to Chad Brendel, please.
Coach, you won on the glass by 8 in the second half, including, I think, 3 straight defensive rebounds at the end of the game, and then the JD rebound off of Tari's miss. Just talk about the effort there and how much better you got in the second half on the glass.
Yeah, JD that's what he does. He goes makes a play. Tari goes makes a play. That's what these guys do. They're talented, they're tough, but they're all in. You don't make those plays unless you're all in, free of your mind, body, and soul, all in. And it's I'm really proud of the way those guys do it. And they make toughness plays. We're becoming more and more tough. You can't get to a championship game at this level without being tough. We're getting there, and a large part is our young guys.
Okay, we'll take the last one from Justin Williams, please.
What is it about this team and your style of coaching that has allowed your teams and this team to play so much better in February and March?
Well, I think there's a maturation process, Justin. Let me start with the seniors. I think there's a tremendous support, tremendous character, tremendous. They're great teammates. Seniors are great teammates, so that helps the young guys be better players first and foremost. Then the young guys just got older. I mean, again, January is usually 20 plus games in, right? It wasn't this year, so it took a little longer. And I knew this team would continue to ascend. I knew it would, and it did because of the toughness and the character and the talent. These guys are talented. I mean, Mike Saunders, Mike, JD, Tari, Mason, Dave, those guys are talented. And Chris Vogt and Keith Williams and Mamadou are talented, experienced, and great teammates. So those guys can't show that without having those guys support them. And I think, Justin, that's a large part of why we've had success.